Hey everybody, it's been quite a while since I made a video of a parts computer, and the reason of that is because it's been a while since I've been to the GCWorks store. For many reasons, including they have really gotten out of control with some of their part system prices, and I promised them that I wouldn't show back up and buy until they come back down on their prices a little bit. And they finally started to offer some more reasonable prices on their system. And I found this computer here at the GCWorks store today for 15 bucks. This, I believe, to be the first Emachines eCooper system I made a video about. The previous Emachines systems I made videos of were in the next gen style case, which you can see here. This is the style that Emachines used from like 2002 through 2006 or 2007 maybe. And then they switched to the eCooper style case, which offers a newer design. Sadly, this case here is built not as well as the old version. The metal is thinner, and overall the manufacturing process is just not the best. But it was only $14.99, and the reason for that is because the motherboard is not working very well, if any at all. So I'm going to try to dig into this thing, see if I can get the motherboard to work. Other than that, it's not a bad machine. It's got a DVD burner here. I'm going to have a look at that. It's a DVD burner. Unused expansion bay. It's missing one of the doors, unfortunately. There's the card reader. And with the newer card readers they have, of course, you know, your expected memory card readers, plus 2 more USB ports. And they put the audio and mic and headphone jack up here with the card reader and USBs. On older Emachines, it was down here at the bottom. This system comes with Windows Vista Home Premium. It has NVIDIA integrated graphics and a Athlon 64 processor. Might actually be a dual core, though I'm not sure yet whether it's a single or a dual, because I've seen systems that have just the basic Athlon 64 sticker that were actually dual core. And in judging by this sticker here, this computer is not that old. It's probably a 2008, if not an early 2009. I'm guessing it's really an 08. Because the Phenom 2, I know just the Phenom 64 had the same kind of badge back in them days before Phenom 2 come out. So let's go ahead and have a look inside this thing. But actually first I'm going to give you a look at the back. Of course, I'm going to cover up the Vista product key. But there's your power supply. It's a 300 watt Delta. Not the best power supply in the world, because it's only a 15 amp 12 volt rail power supply with only a 20 pin connector for the motherboard. And here is the I/O ports, like your PS2s, your parallel, your VGA out, your serial, USBs, Ethernet, audio. And down at the bottom is a modem. In this case, does not have a rear exhaust fan. And they actually got this little, what appears to be like a filter across the fan grill, which it's kind of confusing when you look on the side. There's no dust filters on this thing, other than, I guess you could call that a dust filter. And another thing I don't like is the newer, or at least this computer does not have the thumb screws that only found on the Emachines. So that being said, we're going to go and actually have a look inside this thing. Okay, I just got the cover loose, and this is definitely probably an early 2008 computer when the case has a 2007 stamp on it. I'm judging this is by the case manufacturer, not actually the manufacturer of the computer. That being said, let's go and have a look inside this thing. It's got a WinFast motherboard in it. It's actually the same brand as motherboard that's in the Mid-Tower Deluxe Black Max. It's a WinFast AM2 board. And Emachines was known for using these motherboards there for a while. And according to my buddy up at the GCWorks store, he mentioned that these WinFast boards can be hit or miss. He's actually had quite a few of them fail, so who knows? Maybe their OEM boards are not as good as the retail boards. Let's have a look inside here. There's the NVIDIA chip. has two PCI slots. There's a modem, PCI Express 1 and PCI Express 16. Two DDR2 DIMM slots. Here's our CPU core, just basic run-of-the-mill core for an OEM system. Has a good design though. ID DVD burner. And down there is the sticker for the power supply. Let you have a look at that. Pause to view specs. And of course made in China, go figure. It's definitely a nice system. Not too bad for $15, even if the motherboard's bad. Now I'm going to throw some memory in this thing, which I actually did throw some memory in it at the computer store when I tested it. Now I got some DDR2 sticks here I can test with it. See if we get anything at all. It might actually be the power supply, not exactly sure. I couldn't test in the store, so we're about to find out what exactly is going on here. Okay, got everything plugged up. Let's go ahead and try it and see what we get here. Absolutely nothing. Not a thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this power supply, see if we're getting any standby power at all. Then I'll go ahead and toss in a different power supply just to test this thing with. Give about 6 seconds or so for that power supply to fully discharge before I unplug the connectors. We're good to go now, so I'm going to unplug everything. This power supply is real cheap. A Delta with 20 gauge wiring. This is like one of those $20 marvels, except you're finding it in an OEM system. I'm very disappointed with Delta for that. Get you a better focus. Have a look at this. 20 gauge wiring in an OEM, power supply. You don't see this very often. At least I haven't seen it very often. Hey, at least the best techs had 18 gauge on most of their connectors, with the exception of the CPU connector in Emachines systems. And I'm hoping the inside of power supply is built better than what I'm seeing here on these connectors. Anyways, that being said, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my multimeter. Get this out of the way. And I'm going to see if this power supply has any life in it. It might just be simply the power supply. That's what I'm hoping to see, because I could really use a decent system like this to refurbish, because everybody's done bought my Vista Home Premium systems. I gotta start up a law firm business, or law attorney business, with both of my Vista Home Premium systems. So that being said, we can go ahead and plug in this power supply. And of course, I have unplugged the 20 pin connector and the 4 pin from the motherboard. Set my multimeter to DC volts. And let's see, I'm going to place this where you can see it. I'll try to anyway. Now you can see it. And of course it's reading 0 volts because I don't have anything touched, but let's go ahead and see if we have any life in this power supply at all. All I gotta do is find the ground. And the 5 volt standby rail on a ATX power supply is the purple wire. So that way, if you're new to computer engineering and you get tested on that in the class, the 5 volt standby is purple. Absolutely nothing. I think we have determined the problem here. This power supply is dead. It's plugged in, but the power supply unit is completely dead. Shame on you, Delta. Normally Delta power supplies are built much better than this. So I'm going to go ahead and get my other power supply and test this thing. Now, of course, my testing supply doesn't have much to say for itself either. But let's see, it's an ISO built power supply that I've installed into a Best Tech case. This power supply originally had no filtering components on the EMI stage. I had those components in myself. The X caps, Y caps, lone coil, all that stuff. So this power supply does do the job for basic testing. And it also has 20 gauge wiring. I'm going to plug this in. Plug in the DVD drive too, so that way I can make sure it's working. Make sure the motherboard detects it. So this is definitely good news for me. I'm glad I bought this thing now. I was thinking for sure a Delta power supply wouldn't be bad, but apparently I was wrong. So let's see if the motherboard is still good on this computer. If it is, I'm going to be very happy about it. Now, of course, for those who don't know, with the older Emachines, when the power supply failed, the Best Tech ATX 25012E power supply failed, your motherboard was pretty much toast too. But with this power supply, it's probably different. At least I hope, anyway. Okay, everything is plugged in and needs to be plugged in, so let's go ahead and put power into this power supply. See if we get anything. Cut this multimeter off. Now this power supply here does work. And it booted right up. Let's see if we get anything on the monitor. Yep. I wasn't fast enough. Oh my gosh, there is a CD in the in the drive. Watch this. Windows is loading files. We have a Windows 7 or Windows Vista DVD in the DVD drive on this computer. Let's find out what version we have. Of course, we can't do much anything without a hard drive. So apparently this power supply unit just failed. I'm thinking GCWorks was in the process of installing Windows on this computer. They install Windows 7 Professional because they are they're through the refurbisher program and get Windows 7 for real cheap. I'm thinking this is also Windows 7. This is definitely a first for me, guys. It's Windows 7. It's definitely a first for me to see a part system with a Windows install disk in it. Very strange. I'm going to go ahead and call the Google Computer Works store to let them know. I'm going to shut this back off completely. Get access to this right here. Make it open the drive. Yep. This right here, I believe, belongs to Google Computer Works. Amazing, isn't it? I'll be giving them a call and let them know that I'll be bringing them their Windows install disk later this week. But the computer works fine. It was the power supply unit. So I will have a video on this power supply later this week. I'm hoping. I'll make the video later this week. I'm not sure when I'll get it uploaded, but I'm going to have a look at this power supply. I'm very disappointed with Delta with this right here, for the fact that it has 20 gauge wiring on it. With Delta, you expect them to be a good quality company. They really failed here. It's probably got bad capacitors, probably something I can fix. But anyways, our motherboard is working good, so let's go ahead and get into the BIOS and have a look. It's kind of hard for me to do all this with one hand, so I'm going to set the camera right here in front of the monitor so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm resetting. This motherboard is perfectly fine. Press F2. I want to see what kind of processor we have here. This is just a basic setup utility. Advanced BIOS features. Let's have a look here. Some BIOSes will easily tell you what's what kind of processor you have, that kind of stuff. I'm going to disable that. Just a quick poke through the BIOS. Just your basic things, award BIOS. This motherboard has RAID. Have a look here. We got RAID on this motherboard. Not bad. Not bad. See how it's running. This motherboard, the BIOS on this motherboard is, you can actually change some settings here. A lot of OEM motherboards are very locked down to what you can change. You have the option here to turn off smart fan control for the CPU and everything, which the CPU is running at 35 degrees Celsius. But since this motherboard does not have a system information thing, we're going to go ahead and restart. And it should not show a full screen logo, so it should see the specifications here. Go ahead and aim this up a little bit. We should have something here. Let's go ahead and see. Athlon 64 processor, 4000 plus, so it's a single core 64. Not too bad. And of course, I only got one stick of DDR2 in here. It's only like 512 megabytes minus the graphics memory. So this computer is a late 2007 to early 2008. Not too bad. Not bad at all. And it's already after 7 o'clock, so GCWorks is already closed on a Sunday, but I would definitely be giving them a phone call about this here. They're a Windows 7 Pro 32-bit disk. Anyways, that was another part system video, and this is probably a pretty interesting one at that. So anyways, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask, and thanks for watching.